Hello guys and girls, boom! Welcome to a new series. We are covering silver. I'm not a silver stacker. Well, I don't collect £5 coins either, but hey. I decided because of the price of gold and silver now, it would be worth pulling out any coins in my collection that have a silver content, because in future, people who are not into coins may look at these and not realise their value. And I thought it'd be more useful to have them displayed in the flips, in an album, and easier to look up once you've got all the information, of course, written on the flip. So that's good. I've got the information from Numista. It's all there. Everything's there. So I'll try and give you as much as I can. But for your poor old eyesight, I've also done you a picture on the microscope of the obverse and the reverse so that you get a clear look at the coin. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to start reading to you from Numista exactly what we've got in front of us. Now this coin is a 1.5D, that's 1.5 old pennies, and it is 0.925 silver. I've never seen one of these before, so as a child I never used these, and I believe I read somewhere, here we go, the standard weight of this coin was 1/44 of a troy ounce, or 10.9 grains, struck for the colonial use in Ceylon, where it was worth 4 stivers, and the West Indies, that's Jamaica, British Ghana and Trinidad, where, turn over the page, just so you know what I'm doing, it was equivalent to 1/4 real or real. There we are. So that's why we don't see these very often. This one is 1862, and it's got the first bust of Queen Victoria on the obverse, and unusually it flips end to end. Okay. Now, as I said, it's 0.925 silver. It's 12 millimeters in diameter and weighs 0.71 grams. Well, it would have done before it was worn. As you can see, it's had a bit of wear. Silver is quite a soft metal, so it does wear quickly. And it says that these were minted between 1838 and 1870. So very short window of printing, but it's so little value even back then that and of course the copper coins were probably a lot cheaper to produce, even though they were a lot bigger to mint. The actual price of copper then, I don't think, compared anything like the price of silver. Now the obverse has, as I said, the first bust of Queen Victoria, or the young head, or whatever, and the inscription around the edge translates to Victoria by the grace of God, Queen of Britain, Defender of the Faith, and was engraved by William Wyon. Yeah. I remember it's 1862, because I should tell you in a minute. Well, I don't need to, do I? Look, the mintage is 256,000. I didn't realise I'd written that on there. So quite low mintage, really, which is good. On the reverse, it has a crowned denomination, and it's above the date within an oak reef. So it basically has 1.5D. 1862 is the date of this one. Yep, check. And the engraver for this was Jean Baptiste Merlin, and it was minted in the Royal Mint when it was in Tower Hill in London. There we are. Now we've moved on to a silver thrupnibit, 3D. Would actually traditionally have been written with a small letter D. This one is still end to end because it's 1861 and still the first date. Sadly, this one's got a great big hole drilled in it, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. Again, it's 0.925 silver, and the years of minting was between 1838 and 1887. The front around the edge is the same inscription which I'll read again just to remind you, is Victoria by the grace of God, Queen of the Britons, Defender of the Faith. Again, William Wine for the portrait. And over on the reverse, it's the 3D with a crown and the laurel and the date of the coin. And then you can see that I've put the mintage there, 3.3 million, just under, diameter 16 millimetres, and the weight 1.41 grams. I thought it would be interesting to, shall we say, make a guesstimate of the weight content of the coins at the end. Not of this video, but in the album, each page perhaps I'll put something on there, because obviously it's going to be things like this where the holes are drilled, and a lot of wear and tear as well on some of these old coins. So yeah, okay, so that's the 3D, or threepence, as we used to say. There we go. Okay, this next coin is another threepenny piece, silver. And the reason I'm sharing this one with you is because it has a different portrait of Queen Victoria. This is the second portrait of the late Queen Victoria, and it was engraved by Joseph Edgar Bolam. There we are. Same inscription, much the same. Still 925 silver, and done this one upside down. There we go, put it up the right way. Just over 6.3 million minted. There we are. Still at Tower Hill, because it was a long time before we moved on. There we go. Okay, this third threepenny piece, or third portrait of the late Queen Victoria. There we are. This one's dated 1898, and the coins of this design were minted between 1893 and 1901, and it's the same edge inscription. And this was the third portrait by Thomas Brock. There we are. And the reverse design, there it is, was another same 3D, same as before, and this is Jean Baptiste Merlin again. Mintage figure for that one, you can see, is just over 4.5 million. There we go. Incidentally, on this third portrait, the edge inscription does have an addition, and it says Empress of India. Okay, there we are. We've got a change of year and a change of monarch. This coin is another 3D or threepenny piece, threepenny bit, whatever. 1911 George V. Okay, it's the first issue, this one, and it's again 0.9250 silver, and on the reverse 3D. And there is a variant of this one, but I cannot pick up the detail to find out which variant I have of this coin. So look out for that. Now let me just get the information, and I'll let you know that these in this first issue were minted between 1911 and 1920. Same weight, same diameter, and the thickness of this is 0.8 millimetre. Okay, the inscription around the edge is George V, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, and Emperor of India. And the portrait was engraved by Edgar Bertram McKennell. If I just turn that over for you, I can just give you a little bit on the reverse. It's got the crown on top of the number 3 for the threepence, and then you've got the oak wreath around the outside. There we go. And you can see the mintage figure. This is 5.8, just over. Yeah. And again, still minted at Tower Hill. Nice. Okay, we've moved on now to 1937. Now, I have to tell you that this is just a pull of the change in coins, not the actual date run itself, because I did pull out quite a few coins, and maybe at the end I'll show you that, but let's get on with the coins. This is 1937, change of monarch, George the Sixth. It's also a change of the reverse as well as the obverse. So we've got an uncrowned portrait, and it's George the Sixth, by the grace of God, King of the Britons. No mention of Emperor of India, by Thomas Humphrey Paget. And the reverse is, there we are, as I say, I'm sure you can see the bigger picture on the right. Reverse is St George's Cross over the Tudor rose dividing date. So you've got the date split there. And then it says legend above, denomination below. And if I can just, it says 3 pence. And if I can just share with you again the obverse, I better tell you that the reverse is engraved by George Kruger Gray. Again, Tower Hill. There we are. Now these are minted between, this design, between 1937 and 1945. The thickness is getting thicker and thicker as we go on, because this is 0.95 now. So the diameter stayed the same, the weight has stayed the same, but the thickness, that's very strange, that is. Yes, because if you think if it was thicker it'd be heavier, but it just says 1.41 gram. Yay. Okay, that's that one. One is a change of denomination, and it's actually 4 pence. There we are, 1849, 0.925 silver again. First portrait, Queen Victoria, and as I say, 4D. And we've got the details of the obverse and reverse from New Mr. As I say, it's a great source of information, great place to store your or catalogue your coins if you have a collection. We have the bust is William Wine again, because it's the same one from the threepenny bits, or the 1.5. It's the first portrait, so that's exactly the same. And then the reverse is, for the first time, we see Britannia here, and it's a 4 pence, which is written around the outside, 4 pence. There we are. And again, you can see the mintage figure, 380,100. 380,100. I know. Some of these are quite low, you'd be surprised. You wait till we get to the more common sixpences, you will see that there is a huge amount of difference between these less common sixpences to the ones of my childhood in the 60s. They're absolutely billions, millions and millions. I can't say billions, that's a false statement, but millions and millions. Now this 4 pence is slightly bigger. Okay, it is 1.89 grams, still 16 millimetre round. It doesn't give the thickness on here. And a 4 pence was 1/60th of a pound, and these ones were minted between 1837 and 1862. Same engraver again for the first portrait. Oh, we've got to flip the other way for the coin. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. We haven't. 1849. That's surprising. There we are. That is surprising. Thank you for watching, guys and girls. See you in the next one. Bye bye.